2022 has come to an end. That means it is time to talk about my favorite movies of this year. This was a great year for film. There was a lot of goods, also a lot of stinkers, but we won't get into those today. I will start this off by prefacing and saying that there are a lot of movies that I didn't get to see, and there's movies that are out currently that I just haven't had the time to see, but I wanted to get this video out before the new year. So those will not be included, but I will mention them here. I have not seen Babylon, Tar, I believe that's how you say it, the one with Cate Blanchett, The Whale, and I have not seen After Sun. Those are really the only ones I can think of that could maybe make this list. So with that being said, these are my top 20 films of 2022. Number 20 is DreamWorks' The Bad Guys. Number 19 is After Yang. Number 18 is Duel. Number 17 is Men. Number 16 is Top Gun Maverick. Number 15 is Bones and All. Number 14 is The Batman. Number 13 is Fresh. Number 12 is Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. Number 11 is On the Count of Three. Now let's get into the top 10. I will break these down a little bit more and kind of explain why these movies are in the spot that they are in. Barbarian, directed by Zach Kreger. This movie I didn't think was going to be this high up on the list, but it ended up being because the more I sat and thought about it, the more I loved it. I just remember having a great time in the theater seeing this movie. Every second of it was like a surprise and just a shock to me. It stuck with me long after I saw it. I even came home that night from the movie theater and then broke down the whole movie for my wife, and she was enthralled just by me telling the story. When people ask me if I recommend any horror movies, this is definitely the first one that comes out of my mouth because it honestly blew me away. I wasn't expecting much going in. The first trailer, I remember seeing it and being like, it looks like more Blumhouse garbage. But then I ended up seeing it and it blew every expectation I had out of the water. Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery, directed by Rian Johnson. This movie was a perfect follow-up to Knives Out. Benoit Blanc is an incredible detective character that I really have fallen in love with, and I can't wait to see more movies with him. I think he's just a well put together character, and you can really tell that Daniel Craig loves this character and has put a lot of time into crafting this character. He really shines in this, and then all of the side characters as well do great. Every actor in this movie is really bringing their A game. Rian Johnson, I really think, is our generation's Agatha Christie, and I really hope he keeps making these, and if not movies, I hope he starts writing books. Petite Maman, directed by Celine Sciamma. I remember seeing Portrait of a Lady on Fire back in 2019 and really loving it. I love Celine Sciamma's direction and her vision. I love the way she uses colors and landscapes, and this movie has all of that and then some. I went into this movie obviously expecting to be blown away by how beautiful it was, but I left with very heavy emotions and the strong urge to call my mother and tell her I love her. No matter what kind of relationship you have with your parents, I feel like this movie's gonna hit you pretty hard. And I don't have a child, but I'm sure if I did, it would hit even 1,000 times harder. The movie's also super short with a runtime of like an hour and 12 minutes, but even still in that short runtime, the movie is still very profound and heavy. There's a lot of themes here that really plucks at the heartstrings, and I think it's very original too, and the way it's trying to convey its message, it's written very beautifully, and unlike any way I've seen this type of story be written before, so I give it props for that. Check out Petite Maman. Nope, directed by Jordan Peele. I only watched this movie once this year, and it was in theaters, and it has stuck with me ever since because I really loved Get Out and Us, and when the trailer came out for Nope, I was a little concerned because of how much I loved Jordan Peele's first two movies. I thought it was basically impossible for him to hit a hat trick and give us 3 perfect movies back to back to back, but he totally did. This movie blew me away. I think I even like it more than his other 2 movies. This one might be my favorite. I don't know if it's a crime to say that, but it's true. Daniel Kaluuya, Keke Palmer, Steven Yeun, they all crush it in this movie. It also was a super unexpected sci-fi summer blockbuster. It scratched this like itch that I didn't even know I had for like an Independence Day level alien sci-fi movie. Funny Pages, directed by Owen Kline. This is the last movie I watched this year. It's the most recent thing I've watched, so it's fresh on the brain, but that doesn't mean it doesn't deserve to be in this spot. This movie really surprised me. It's the perfect mix of like comedy and anxiety-inducing tension. I kid you not, I was on the verge of a panic attack towards the end of this movie, but yet I still had a huge smile on my face and had tears from laughing. Magic really happens when A24 and Alara Pictures come together to make something, because this movie is so well done. It checks off every box for me when it comes to what I look for in a movie nowadays. It's funny, it's character driven, it's relatable. Owen Kline really knocked it out of the park, and as far as I can tell, this is his directorial debut, and so I really can't wait to see what he does next. The Banshees of Sharon, directed by Martin McDonagh. Oh man, where to even start with Banshees? Yeah, this movie put me in a horrific emotional state for like 3 or 4 days after watching. I was in shambles. Not even to say that the movie's sad, it's just devastating. Martin McDonagh is the king of these beautifully original bummers, I guess you could say. With 3 Billboards, as fun of moments that movie has, it's equally devastating, and this movie is definitely the same. I think Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson are at the top of their games for this movie. You can definitely tell that they have a relationship outside of making movies together, because their chemistry in this film is just unlike any other friendship I've seen in a film. I gotta give credit to Martin McDonagh just for the writing of this film, because the script feels almost too original. It feels like a classic novel that's been turned into a movie, but as far as I know, it's just a completely original script, and that speaks volumes to Martin McDonagh as a writer. I don't want to say too much about this movie, because I think the more blind you are going into it, the more you'll love it. It's on HBO Max now, so definitely go check it out if you haven't. All Quiet on the Western Front by Edward Berger. I'm not going to spend too much time on this one. I have a whole video about this movie. All I'll really say is that I cannot stop thinking about this movie. Anytime someone asks me what my favorite movies are this year, this is one of the first ones to come out of my mouth, and I recommend it, not only because it's very accessible, it being on Netflix, but also because regardless of the fact that it's about World War I, it's still very, very in tune with today's political climate. It's just a great reminder that war sucks and we shouldn't do it. Great performances across the board. It's beautifully shot. The cinematography in this thing is incredible. I would print out every frame and use it as wallpaper in my house. One of the best of the year by far, and I really hope we see this nominated in some form or another at the Oscars. Everything Everywhere All at Once, directed by Daniels. I fell in love with Daniels after Swiss Army Man. I loved how beautiful and weird that movie is, and this movie really takes all the beautiful weirdness of Swiss Army Man and cranks it to a billion. This movie literally is everything, everywhere, all at once. There's not much more to be said about this movie that hasn't already been said. It's done huge things for independent cinema when it comes to smaller movies being shown worldwide. I think a lot of people who normally wouldn't see a movie like this got the chance to because of how successful it was. And I really think that says a lot for Daniels, not only as writers, but directors also. This movie isn't a big, expensive Hollywood blockbuster, and it made back blockbuster money. It did huge numbers. And honestly, I think the reason for that is because of how passionate everyone was when it came to making this film. You can tell the crew, the cast, everyone was just so in tune with the Daniels vision that they made one of the best movies of the year, and maybe even one of the best movies of the decade. I can honestly say that this is a decade-defining film. Decision to Leave, directed by Park Chan-wook. Again, I have a review of this on my channel, so you can check that out if you want to know more about this. All you really need to know, though, is that it is the most romantic movie I've ever seen, while still also being a super and thrilling crime drama. Park Chan-wook does it again, making an instant classic with Decision to Leave. Even if you've never really stepped into the foreign film, especially Korean film market, this would be a good one to start off. It is visually stunning. The editing, I think, deserves every award. The writing, everything about it is incredible. So yeah, definitely check out Decision to Leave. And that's all I'm going to leave you with on that one. White Noise, directed by Noah Baumbach. Yeah, I can already tell you that this movie is probably not going to be number one on a lot of people's lists. It probably may not even touch people's lists, but this movie is really special to me. One of the big reasons this movie is number one for me is because I am a huge fan of the original Don DeLillo novel. I read it this year, and the book just enthralled me. And this movie, I kid you not, is a perfect adaptation of that book. What I envisioned in my head while reading the book is what was presented to me on screen. Noah Baumbach was in tune with this book when he read it, and it honestly feels like he just used the book as the screenplay. Like when they were filming, they just referenced the novel for lines of dialogues and certain scenes, and how they chose settings and costuming and makeup. Everything is perfect. Being a fan of the book is a huge reason why I love this movie, so if you don't like the book, or if you've never read the book, you may watch this movie and be like, what is he talking about? Why is this his number one? It's just got a special place in my heart, man. All right? Leave me alone. I think Adam Driver does incredible. Greta Gerwig, all the kids are perfect. When I say it is the book on screen, that's what it is. I really hope Hollywood and other filmmakers take notes, because this is how you do a book to movie adaptation. White Noise is a perfect 10 out of 10 in my book, which is why it is number one for me this year. Again, there's some movies I still need to see, but I would be surprised if any of them took the number one spot from White Noise. So yeah, that's 2022 for me. Let me know what some of your favorites were if they weren't listed here. Let me know if you hated any of the ones that I listed. And I can't wait to see you again next year. My name is Cody Metcalf. Thank you for watching.